And joining me right now is attorney Mike Wasylik of the legal firm of Ricardo, Wasylik & Kaniak. Thank you so much for being with us, Mike. And I know you've covered a lot of these kinds of cases, but have you ever seen anything like this with the robo-signings? And I mean, this is crazy stuff.
No, I've never seen anything like this in my career. The systematic, widespread fraud that's happening right now is unprecedented.
Now, we have a couple of documents, and we can't show you the names on here, but let me just tell you. Okay, this is a document right now, and the signatures, folks, literally look like round scribbles. I mean, what is that? And then the notary's symbol, it looks like Jed Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies signed it.
Well, the real problem here is that what it looks like in these cases, somebody else has the notary's seal, which is illegal. So these are supposed to be notarized documents, and they're actually being fraudulently notarized. And these are documents that are being submitted to the court as evidence, and they're completely fake.
But you're supposed to know that as an attorney, right?
Well, I've got the experience now to recognize the warning signs of when these things are fraudulent, when they're not. So when something comes across my desk, I'm more likely to be able to catch it.
Would the homeowner have known it's fraudulent when he or she got all this paperwork?
Almost no way a homeowner could catch that unless they had already immersed themselves in this information. There's a lot of stuff out on the internet, and a lot of people do catch it, but most homeowners would never guess.
So you as a lawyer, and you're representing these people. Now, what does this mean because of this new ruling from the Bar Association that you're going to have to do? I mean, you're going to do a lot more work yourself, right?
Well, this is always part of my job because I represent the borrowers, the homeowners, so part of my job is to root this fraud out. This puts a new burden on the other side, on the bank's lawyers, when what that says is that if they suspect fraud by their clients, they have an obligation now. And it's almost remarkable that the bar has to remind lawyers that they're not allowed to participate in committing fraud on the court.
Okay, and then you have another situation where you had a bank basically saying, oops, we're sorry. Does that happen very often?
Well, in that particular case, this is a law firm that had submitted affidavits in thousands of cases across the entire state, and what they did is, back when it first broke the news that these affidavits were false, they withdrew them by the thousands. And I know I and other attorneys got multiple withdrawals of affidavits that they said, oh, now we admit that those things weren't real.
Now, this is more of an opinion question. Were lawyers participating in doing this knowing they were breaking the law, and the banks knowing they were breaking the law, or were they just doing it because they wanted to get the loans through the system faster?
I think there's some mix of both. I think at the very highest levels, there's going to be some serious responsibility. I know that we've already seen one major law firm in Florida collapse under the weight of what's happened. And I think that the lower level lawyers, some of the folks who are signing these things are brand new out of law school and they don't know any better. And I actually have a great concern for the justice system when those lawyers who have been improperly taught right out of law school move on to other fields after the foreclosure crisis is over.
So finally, what are banks doing to try to correct this situation besides what lawyers are trying to do?
Well, what they're doing is, I think they're digging the hole deeper. What they're doing is they're now submitting new documents and in my opinion, the opinion of other attorneys who do this type of work, we think they're trying to be more clever about the way they conceal what's wrong.
And backlogging the system. What's it take, 6 to 8 months, 9 months to get through a foreclosure now?
Oh, much longer than that.
Oh, really?
In the Bay Area, I've seen cases that are years into it. I've got cases that are 2, 3 years old, easy.
Okay, will this clean up the problem, do you think?
Well, I think that it'll take a lot of time to dig through the mess. And so we now have an obligation. It'll clean up the wrongdoing, I think, but it'll take a lot of time and a lot of work to undo the wrong that's already been done.
Yeah, what a mess. Mike Wasylik, thank you so much, and good luck for all this extra work you're going to have to do out there. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Now, the Florida Bar's ethics attorneys are already chiming in on the issue. At least one says attorneys have to report fraud, but they shouldn't do it in a public hearing without the client's permission. They recommend the bank's attorneys ask for a private hearing with the judge. But other lawyers say this is a very public issue and needs to be handled that way. There's still no final decision on how those cases will be handled. That's our In-Depth for this Thursday. Each day we take a close-up look at important issues of the day that are affecting all of us.
This Klystron 9